He's the he wins the Victoria Cross as a piper. And I want to talk briefly, before I talk about him, I want to talk a little bit about pipers and their role in the Great War. As I'm sure you all know, you see people killed in action coming out of Afghanistan. Typically there's a piper there. That tradition predates World War I in both Scotland and Ireland, but it's a very much associated with the Great War. Almost half of the battalions in the Canadian Expeditionary Force had pipers. And those pipers, their job was to play the companies into action. One piper, one company, played the companies into action. And this guy, Richardson, plays in his company into action in a battle on the Regina Trench. Who was people who covered the Regina Trench? As far as you guys? Yeah. Okay. So he's in the action in the Regina Trench. And the attack is not successful because the wire isn't cut. So as his company comes to the wire, they are pinned down, and basically the attack is beginning to fail. And Richardson gets up and begins to play the pipes. And he marches up and down along the wire for 10 minutes playing the pipes. He doesn't get hit. And so animates his company, they began to break the wire, they get through, they actually get to Regina Trench. They do some fair bit of bombing in the trench, but they can't hold it. They eventually have to leave it. And Richardson is going back, taking a couple of wounded comrades with him, and realizes that he's forgotten his pipes in Regina Trench. So he goes back for them, and he's killed. At that point in time, he's listed as missing in action. But there's more to this story. Richardson is discovered at the end of the war, having been buried by the Germans. But his pipes are missing, or appear to be missing. They turn up in a school in Scotland in the 1930s, but we don't know who they belong to. In 2005, the principal of the school is a piper, and he's looking at the pipes, and he observes that the tartan on the bag cover, this piece of material, is not a piece of tartan that he recognizes being associated with any regiment of the British Army. So he begins looking around and finds it's in fact seems to be associated with the 16th Battalion, Canadian Scottish. He contacts the regiment. The pipe major of the regiment in Canada comes over, looks at the pipes, and says clearly they're Canadian Scottish pipes, 16th Battalion pipes, and looks further, and pipes at that time, unlike these, would have these cords but have tartan ribbons on them as well. The cords on this set of pipes are Seaforth tartan, this tartan, and the 16th is made up of 3 battalions. One of those battalions is the Seaforth Highlanders from Vancouver, Professor Hennessy's old regiment. And so what happens in this enterprise is the pipes are identified as Richardson's pipes. In 2007 the pipes are brought back to Canada, and they're now on permanent display in the foyer of the BC Parliament. So that's the short story of James Richardson, born in Scotland but grew up in Canada in Chilliwack. So you can look around, and I'm going to play a little tune for James Richardson. Thanks, Jim. Now look around the cemetery, pay respects to the event.